Hi, this is Jeevi from idlebrain.com. I am here with Mr. Allu Sirish and the team of Buddy. Hi, Sirish.
Hi, brother.
Yeah. ఇప్పుడు లాస్ట్ ఫిల్మ్కి ఈ ఫిల్మ్కి ఆల్మోస్ట్
1.5 years.
1.5 years. ఈ మధ్యలో వై డూ యూ ఆల్వేస్ కీప్ యువర్ సెల్ఫ్ వెరీ లో ప్రొఫైల్?
Very low profile అంటే I am not an introvert, I'm an extrovert. But నా ఫ్రెండ్స్ అంతా మోస్ట్లీ ఇండస్ట్రీ బయట ఉంటారు. సో దట్స్ ఐ అటెండ్ హౌస్ పార్టీస్ ఆర్ ఇంట్లో ఈవెంట్స్. ఐ హ్యావ్ అ లైఫ్ అవుట్ సైడ్ ఆఫ్ సినిమా. సో ఐఎమ్ మోర్ మన సినిమా ఈవెంట్లు తక్కువ కనపడుతుంటా. ప్రీ రిలీజ్ ఫంక్షన్లు కానీ ఈవెన్ గీతా సినిమాలు జరిగిన పూజలు కానీ ఇటు కానీ ఐ జస్ట్ పిక్ అండ్ చూస్ అ ఫ్యూ ఈవెంట్స్ విచ్ ఐ హ్యావ్ టు అటెండ్. సో దట్స్ వై ఇట్ మైట్ సీమ్ లైక్ ఐఎమ్ లో ప్రొఫైల్ and I don't post too much of my life on Instagram. Earlier I used to, Ochin Kottala had an excitement to share everything in my life. Then I figured out that that's something I don't want to do anymore. So per strategy thought ఏం లేదు, మన లో ప్రొఫైల్గా ఉండాలి, ఉంటేనే బాగుంటుందని ఏం అనుకోలే. But as I went with time, I started posting less. And if you remember, from day one I never attended too many film events throughout. అండ్ ఆ గ్యాప్ వచ్చేసరికి పీపుల్ కెన్ ఫీల్ ద గ్యాప్. ఎప్పుడో సంవత్సరం క్రితం సినిమా అప్పుడు చూసే మళ్ళీ కనపడలేదు, ఇంటర్వ్యూలు లేదు, ఇది లేదు, అది లేదు, అది లేదు అని చెప్పి. బిఫోర్ ఎర్లియర్ ఐ యూస్ టు అట్లీస్ట్ హోస్ట్ అన్ అవార్డ్ ఫంక్షన్, కమ్ ఫర్ సమ్ ఆఫ్ దీస్ ఈవెంట్స్, డూ అ వీడియో విత్ అన్ ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్సర్. సో ఐ పుట్ ఎఫర్ట్ టు బీ విజిబుల్. బట్ నౌ ఐ ఫెల్ట్ దట్ ఏమో యాడప్ అవు. ఫైనల్గా సినిమా బాగుండి ట్రైలర్ నచ్చితేనే ఆడియన్స్ మనం ఇష్టపడతారు తప్ప బీయింగ్ విజిబుల్ డస్ నాట్ ట్రాన్స్లేట్ టు స్టార్డమ్.
రైట్. ఎందుకంటే ఓన్లీ ఫిల్మ్ రిలేటెడ్ అప్డేట్ వచ్చినప్పుడే పీపుల్ విల్ థింక్ అబౌట్ యూ. లేదంటే సినిమా రిలీజ్ అయినప్పుడు దే విల్ థింక్ అబౌట్ యూ. అదర్వైజ్ యు ఆర్ నాట్ దేర్ ఇన్ ద న్యూస్.
I'm kind of comfortable this way. Like better, the more we shield it up, మన ప్రైవేట్ లైఫ్ ఇంకా ఎంత షీల్డ్ చేసుకుంటే ఐ ఫీల్ దట్స్ బెటర్ అండ్ గివ్స్ లెస్ స్కోప్ ఫర్ స్పెక్యులేషన్. మోర్ వి స్పీక్, మాట్లాడే కొద్ది అనవసరంగా దట్ కెన్ బి మిస్కన్స్ట్రూడ్. సో అందుకే ద బెటర్ లైఫ్ యూ హ్యావ్, అండ్ దట్స్ వై మిస్టరీ అని చెప్పను కానీ అట్లీస్ట్ దే డోంట్ నో మచ్ అబౌట్ మీ. సో దిస్ లెస్ స్కోప్ ఫర్ మిస్అండర్స్టాండింగ్.
And back in the day, that's how it used to be also. Yeah. Since social media happened, I feel like it's diluted a lot. It's like too accessible.
And నేను ఒక చిన్న ఫినామినా అబ్జర్వ్ చేశాను. అఫ్ కోర్స్ విత్ టైమ్ యూ గ్రో విత్ మోర్ ఫిల్మ్స్, ఆడియన్స్ నో యూ మోర్. బట్ ఎక్కువ బయట కనపడేటప్పుడు ఆడియన్స్ మధ్యన వెళ్తే వాళ్ళ రియాక్షన్ అండ్ ఎక్సైట్మెంట్ టు సీ మీ వర్సెస్ నౌ వెన్ దే డోంట్ గెట్ టు సీ యూ. ఇప్పుడు బయట ఎప్పుడైనా మాల్లో కానీ ఎయిర్పోర్ట్లో కానీ కనపడితే ద ఆడియన్స్ రియాక్షన్, దర్ ఎక్సైట్మెంట్ టు సీ మీ ఈజ్ హయ్యర్. సో ఐ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ అగ్రీ విత్ వాట్ షీ ఈజ్ సేయింగ్. ఓకే, ఇనీషియలీ నువ్వు ఎవరో తెలియడానికి, పరిచయం చేసుకోవడానికి యూ హ్యావ్ టు, వెన్ యూర్ స్టార్టింగ్ ఆఫ్ యూ హ్యావ్ టు బీ సీన్ అ లాట్ మోర్ టు బిల్డ్ అ కనెక్ట్ అండ్ విత్ ద ఆడియన్స్. బట్ ఒక్కసారి అది బిల్డ్ అయిపోయి ఒక 4-5 ఫిల్మ్స్ వచ్చాక దే నో ఓకే దేర్ ఇస్ ఇస్ యాక్టర్. థియేటర్లో కాకపోయినా టీవీలో కానీ ఓటీటీలో కానీ ఎక్కడో ఈ సినిమా చూసుంటారు. ఆఫ్టర్ దట్ ఐ ఓన్లీ థింక్ ద ఫిల్మ్ హ్యాస్ టు స్పీక్. సో ఇనీషియలీ యూ హ్యావ్ టు డూ మోర్. సో ఇప్పుడు రేపు ఇంకొక ఇండస్ట్రీకి వెళ్తున్నావు, మన సినిమా ఇంకొక ఇండస్ట్రీలో రిలీజ్ చేస్తున్నాం అన్నప్పుడు టు ఫెమిలియరైజ్ అవర్ ఆడియన్స్ దేర్ ప్రాబ్లమ్ ఇంకొంచెం ఎక్కువ చేయలేము. బట్ తెలుగు ఆడియన్స్ తోటి ఆల్రెడీ మనకు ఒక కనెక్షన్ ఫామ్ అయింది ఓవర్ దట్ డెకేడ్ ఇన్ 6 ఫిల్మ్స్. సో నౌ ఐ ఫీల్ దెర్ ఇస్ లెస్ నీడ్ ఫర్ మీ టు గో మార్కెట్ మై సెల్ఫ్. ద ఫిల్మ్ హ్యాస్ టు స్పీక్ అన్న. ట్రైలర్ నచ్చి, పాటలు నచ్చి అది క్లిక్ అవ్వాలి తప్ప నేను వెళ్ళి కాంట్రవర్సీలు చేసి లేదంటే ఏదో పబ్లిసిటీ కోసం ఏదో వైరల్ అవ్వాలని ఏవో చేసి ఐ డోంట్ థింక్ దట్ విల్ హెల్ప్ మచ్ ద ఫిల్మ్. బికాస్ దట్స్ నాట్ ట్రాన్స్లేటింగ్ టు టికెట్స్. ఫైనలీ మూవీ బాగుంటే మళ్ళీ అదే చూస్తున్నారండి.
There is also a saying, familiarity breeds contempt.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Hi, Sam.
Hey, sir, how are you?
I'm good. ఇప్పుడు ఈ ఫిలిం చూస్తే ఇమ్మీడియట్గా ఎవ్రీబడి హ్యాస్ థింక్స్ దట్ ఇట్ ఈస్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ ట్రిబ్యూట్ టు ద హాలీవుడ్ ఫిలిం బడీ. సో మీరు చేసిన మంచి పని ఏంటంటే ట్రైలర్లో యూ పుట్ ఇట్ యాజ్ ఎ ట్రిబ్యూట్ సో దట్ దెర్ వోంట్ బి ఎనీ నెగటివ్ ఆర్ పీపుల్ అజ్యూమ్ దట్ దిస్ ఈజ్ కాపీ. So it is kind of nice tribute. So tell me, how did you Indianize it, and is there any similarities between the Tamil film that is also Teddy, right?
That's Teddy, and this is Buddy, sir.
Yeah.
So
The Hollywood film is Ted.
Ted.
Yeah, Ted.
Ted, Teddy, Buddy.
Buddy. So when Gnanavel sir asked me to do this film, no, he had that idea of making a film in Telugu with that central character Teddy. So I thought I don't want to remake that film because most of Telugu audiences have consumed that film in Telugu. So we took the idea of Teddy, and the core idea will be the same. A soul of a girl going inside the Teddy. Other than that, everything is different. So as all my previous work, no, at least something I'll do different in every film. So in this film, I thought since I'm venturing into a new language also, so I thought why don't I try to show a different type of love. So what I thought was, in this film, what is this a love between a pilot and a ATC, air traffic controller. So I thought this idea, this concept would have been there maybe 10-15 years before, where they talk on the phone, they don't see. That idea will be there, but whatever is there in this film is something new.
Real clips చూపించింది నాకు, where air traffic controllers and the pilots keep flirting with each other. So ఇది ఒక ట్రాక్ గా అయితే ఎలా ఉంటుందని చెప్పి ఈ క్రియేటెడ్ దట్ క్యారెక్టర్స్ అంటున్నా. అండ్ యాక్చువల్గా చూస్తే పాతకాలం మన సినిమాలు చూసాం కదా, హీరో హీరోయిన్ మాట్లాడుకుంటారు, ఓన్లీ ఫోన్ లో కలుసుకోరు, ప్రేమ పడదు, బట్ ఫైనల్ గా
new way of communication
of the old thing, new way of doing, showing the old school form of love.
telephone
So actually సినిమాలు చాలా వరకు మేము కలుసుకోము.
So it is kind of distance love, long distance
Kind
love.
of, right?
My brother is actually a pilot who, my cousin, my father's also a pilot.
Wow.
So I have a family full of aviators. It's
Did you consider that while casting us?
So this was quite a surprise when I went on set, and I told him. He was like, "What? That's great." So now so a few lines. There were some technical terms that we had to use in the film. So that I spoke to my dad. I said, "Is this?" So he also suggested a few things in the middle. He said, "You can say this." He added those. So it was quite fun. Yeah. And as luck would have it, my cousin is now getting married to an air traffic controller. So it is a real
I
life.
think this story is written for you.
Yeah, I was like, and this happened after I was done shooting for Buddy. He started seeing her and everything. It happened after. So I was like, you're copying the story now.
సినిమాలో జరిగింది, బట్ అది రియల్ లైఫ్ లో కూడా అయ్యిందన్న వాళ్ళ అమ్మాయి రియల్ లైఫ్ లో. అండ్ సినిమా నేను మొత్తం చూశాను కదా, ఆ ఎయిర్ ట్రాఫిక్ కంట్రోల్ అండ్ పైలట్ సిచ్యువేషన్స్ చాలా బిలీవబుల్గా చూపించాడు. సో రీసెర్చ్ చేశాడు అంటున్నా. సో ఆల్ ఆఫ్ దోస్ థింగ్స్ వర్ లైక్ డన్ క్వైట్ ఒథెంటిక్లీ. వాట్ ఐ లైక్, ఎంత సినిమాటిక్గా ఉన్న కమర్షియల్ ఇట్ ప్యాటర్న్లో ఒక విలన్ ఇది అది వెళ్ళినా, ఎవ్రీథింగ్ సీమ్స్ వెరీ ప్లాజిబుల్ అండ్ బిలీవబుల్. సమ్టైమ్స్ మనం కమర్షియల్ ఫిల్మ్స్ వి టేక్ దట్ లిటిల్ ఎడ్జ్ వేర్ అట్లీస్ట్ మనలాంటి ఆడియన్స్, కొంచెం అర్బన్ ఆడియన్స్కి మనకి నమ్మబుద్ధి కాదు దట్ ఈస్ హ్యాపెనింగ్ ఇన్ రియల్ టైమ్, దట్ సంథింగ్ లైక్ దిస్ ఇస్ ప్లాజిబుల్. ఇది అలా లేదంటున్నా. ఎవ్రీథింగ్ ఫ్రమ్ ఫైట్ సీన్స్ డిజైన్ నుండి టు ద వరల్డ్, ఎవ్రీథింగ్ ఆర్ ద టెడ్డీ బేర్ కమింగ్ టు లైఫ్ కూడా తప్పని ఇదిగో ఇప్పుడు వచ్చేసిందని కాకుండా అది నమ్మడానికి కూడా సీన్లు వేసాడు అంటున్నా. సో దట్ ద ఆడియన్స్ ట్రావెల్ విత్ ద క్యారెక్టర్. అండ్ ఈవెన్ ఏటీసీ క్యాప్టెన్ అంటే ఇలా ఉంటాడు, ఇలా ఫ్లైట్ నడపగలడు, ఏటీసీ అంటే అమ్మ ఎలా ఉంటుంది, తన లైఫ్ ఎలా ఉంటుంది, ఆల్ ఆఫ్ దోస్ వర్ డిజైన్ వెరీ వెల్. ఈవెన్ ద విలన్స్ క్యారెక్టర్, విలన్ హూస్ డూయింగ్ ఆర్గన్ స్మగ్లింగ్, ఆల్ ఆఫ్ దట్, ఎవ్రీథింగ్ ఇస్ బిలీవబుల్ అంట. దో ఇట్స్ ఆల్ కమర్షియల్ ఇన్ అ మూవీ, ఎవ్రీథింగ్ లుక్స్ బిలీవబుల్, which is what I like, and I try to get that in commercial films. And very few films hit those notes.
Right. So generally, in typical commercial film, conflict ki hero ki direct connection untundi. So Teddy is the point of conflict here. So the hero supports Teddy. So is there any real connection at personal level between these two characters?
Between the teddy bear and the
the soul, whatever that goes in.
100%. 100%. But ఎంత రివీల్ చేయాలి నాకు తెలియదు సినిమా ముందు. అఫ్ కోర్స్. అండ్ కథ విన్నప్పుడు కూడా we decided that we worked on, I joined 2 weeks after signing the film. We had to start shoot. But in that also we discussed saying that connection between the pilot and the teddy bear has to be stronger. And we've added a small scene, like I said, character building, we added that so that inka tight ga untadi. The audience will not question why is he getting into something which is not his conflict, his core conflict.
Right.
Correct, no bro?
Yes.
Yeah. That scene we discussed and we added. So all locks and correct ga unnai. సినిమా చూసాను కదా ఇప్పుడు డబ్బింగ్ చెప్పినప్పుడు మొత్తం చూసుకున్నాం కదా, ఆల్ ద ట్రాక్స్ ఆర్ కాంప్లిమెంటింగ్ ద మెయిన్ ప్లాట్, నాట్ గోయింగ్ టూ అవే ఫ్రమ్ ఇట్. కథ నుంచి బయటికి ఎక్కువ వెళ్ళట్లా, అన్ని కథ లోపలే ఉన్నాయి. అండ్ ఆల్ ద ప్లాట్స్ అండ్ క్యారెక్టర్స్ ఆల్సో నాట్ వాక్ ఇన్ వాక్అవుట్, దే ఆల్ ఆర్ యాడింగ్ అప్ టు ద మెయిన్ ప్లాట్ అంటున్నా. వాట్ ఐ లైక్ ఇస్ కమర్షియల్ ఫిల్మ్లో ఆ లిబర్టీస్ తీసుకోకుండా ఈ కెప్ట్ ఇట్ వెరీ లాజికల్ ఆల్సో. ఇన్ దట్ వరల్డ్ ఇట్ సెల్ఫ్ దెర్ ఇస్ అ లాజిక్. సో మనలాంటి slightly urban audience also will still find it believable enough.
And normally in a fantasy film like this, we tend to take a few.
Because it's fantasy.
Yeah. But the idea was to I like the film Ega. In that film also, the emotion will be right and the logic will be really right. When
if you replace Ega with a human being, it should work.
Yeah, it will work. That is the idea.
Exactly. If the teddy bear is replaced with a human being, it will work. Even the villains track also, how they actually do organ trade అనేది గాలి కుదలేదు. మన వాళ్ళు ఊరికి ఒక మాఫియా డాన్ అంటాడు, వీ హ్యావ్ టు బిలీవ్ వాట్ ఎవర్ హీ డస్. యూజువల్గా మన సినిమాల్లో హెలికాప్టర్ దిగుతాడు, ఏమైనా చేయగలడు, అలా ఉంటుంది. అలా కాకుండా హీ డిఫైన్డ్ హిమ్ వెరీ వెల్. హౌ ఈజ్ హీ యాక్చువల్లీ క్యారింగ్ అవుట్ దిస్ ప్రాసెస్, వాట్ డూ దే డూ, ఆల్ ద మెడికల్ టర్మ్స్, ఆల్ దోస్ థింగ్స్, how does that cross country organ trade happen, అవన్నీ కూడా నాట్ అ మెయిన్ పార్ట్ ఆఫ్ ద ఫిల్మ్. ఇట్స్ దేర్, బట్ ఉన్నంత వరకు అథెంటిక్గా చూపించాడు. సో పీపుల్ లైక్ అస్ ఆల్సో విల్ బిలీవ్ దట్ ఇట్స్ హ్యాపెనింగ్ అంటున్నాను.
సో ఇటువంటి స్టోరీస్ కొన్ని ఓవర్ నైట్ జరుగుతుంటాయి, లేదంటే 2-3 డేస్లో జరుగుతుంటాయి. వాట్ ఈస్ ద స్పాన్ ఆఫ్ ద స్టోరీ?
No, that we can't define. Maybe the second half happens in 4-5 days and other things happen around 6-7 months or
not kind of a thriller.
No, it is an action thriller.
The
second half
not a time-based thriller.
Not a time-based thriller.
Well, our love story and the final this thing, I think it'll be 2 years, no? Suspension and all of the duration of the story would probably be 2 years.
2 years.
Starting from where we start from her story to mine to the ending. Ala తీసుకుంటే second half will be probably 4-5 days. One week span లో జరిగేది. But the before instance, the setting up and all of that, if you తీసుకుంటే, but end to end will probably be a year and a half.
So you are an international pilot in the film.
Yeah.
So I mean, what are the foreign countries you have shown in the film, and where did you shoot it, and what is the percentage of it?
No, we only shot in Thailand. It was a lot of the locations we wanted were there, but the story happens in Hong Kong. So we doubled up Thailand for Hong Kong. So that's the only destination we are showing in. I'm flying in this film. Zone. I'm actually domestic. I'm flying more in the domestic sector in a fictional airline called I Fly Airlines. So I'm a domestic pilot, but I also have an international license. So because of the mission of the film, I fly to Hong Kong.
Right.
But I'm not a person who's traveling to many locations. I'm a domestic pilot who has an international license.
Okay, ఒక చిన్న question detour. Have you seen The Crew?
Yeah, the మొన్న వచ్చింది.
Yeah. So I mean, generally, how did you like it? Because that is also
for a commercial film, it was quite nice. I saw it in the theater. I enjoyed the chemistry between the three women of different ages. 30, 20 years, 20s, 40s, and 50s.
It worked mostly because of the casting, that nostalgic.
Casting and chemistry and the reasonably believable. See, in that film also, though it is a commercial film and all that, reasonably we could believe that this is happening. That the way they smuggle, I'll chase smuggling, and it could happen. And we've seen one recently also somebody in Hyderabad was caught with gold. So when we read certain things and we're seeing this, it's shown in a believable way. Except that one last bit in that film where they land on a private airstrip, which is a small leap of faith.
Yeah.
If you
and
leave,
they cheat us by.
If you leave that small leap of faith, which is still fine in the totality, it's still fine. అది వదిలేస్తే the rest of the story was believable. అలాగా in this film also I felt the whole tonality was very believable. Nothing I felt was too much a jump from reality.
Right. Gayatri, what are the other films you have done so far?
I have done one Hindi film and I have done a Telugu film called Tiger Nageshwar Rao opposite Ravi Tejas.
Right.
That was my debut. So after that I signed Buddy.
Right. So this is your third film?
Second. Third overall, yes.
Overall.
Yeah.
So how is Telugu film industry treating you?
Very well. Too good to be true. Because I feel like there's a lot of respect for artists in this industry and a lot of respect for art in general, because people here really appreciate, they're big fanatics of cinema. That love I was so enamored by myself, and now when I see other people sharing that same love, it's actually quite overwhelming. And I feel like, see, there is always this one thing that I have seen in life, that there is a gender disparity in most industries. But there is a common misconception, I would say, which is that in our industry there is more.
Right.
A lot of people, because we are so in the public, that is what is spoken about. But when you look at other industries like corporate world, even teaching, like any industry, the gender disparity exists within the masses. So when that changes, I feel like everything else will sort of change, even in our industry. So just that is one thing that I battle with a little bit, because the roles that you get as a new actor in the beginning, it's never going to be about you entirely, or it's never going to be women-centric films are far less. Like it's not as common. But in the future, keeping my fingers crossed, where I actually get to perform, to my maximum potential, and yeah, that's.
Yeah,
When they say women-centric film, it need not be around the women. If you take a love story, it's essentially most of the times about the boy getting the girl. So it's about her only.
Yeah.
So like love stories are about, This film is actually it's about.
Technically, it is. I agree with you. That's what. So our film is not like that. I know.
No, I'm just saying, not about our film.
Yeah,
Outside of our film also, when women say women-centric, it always need not be like Chapak or Tanuved's Manu, or whatever, you're playing a central role. Even in a love story, what is the whole story about? What is the guy's struggle to get the girl's love and affection? So I feel that itself is women-centric. I feel
What she's saying is
perspective.
author-backed roles for women.
author-backed roles are lesser.
No, also from the perspective of a woman, there's less. From the perspective of men, there are so many films that are being made. But from the female gaze, how is the love story happening? I feel like that's a newer territory. Yeah.
This made sense. No, I agree.
Yeah.
I thought that she was talking about the kind of roles. I said no, but again,
That I agree. Lots of like acting, though you get to do. That's true. We have that opportunity, but.
I think all it needs is one film.
Correct.
If that one film of female point of view, it works, then people slowly start making such films.
They should enjoy it. That's the thing. Masses enjoy, coming to the theaters and being entertained. Ultimately, it's all about entertaining the audiences. So the story has to have a good subject, and then to actually, one thing is having an idea in mind, but the execution is the main thing. And when you fall short in the execution, that's when it's like a.
It will that kind of film will never be made again.
Correct.
Yeah. Another thing I heard about is the real flight, which is used for the climax of the film.
Yeah.
So tell me about it. Pretty interesting it is.
And it was a flight which was not functional. The engines were taken off. That was there in a set. The Basica, it was there in EVP in Chennai, but it was not used. So we bought it from scrap, put it on the center of a runway on a road, and then we recreated it. We just worked inside, and because normally the flight shots, we won't get the perspective right.
Yeah.
Normally when we do the flight crash sequence,
match avadu bayatiki lopalki telustundi maniki flight kaadani. So we took a real flight and enhanced it on CG, because we have to use two flights. One is a cargo flight for the second half, and first half is a passenger flight. But the body is the same, a real body, which is what I like. So many times I see flight shots in movies, we can tell it's CG or it's the perspective doesn't match, or because it's a film they slightly put larger than the actual flight size, and you can tell it's not a real set. But here we actually shot in a real flight, so you can feel the congestion, like
Flight without interiors, basically.
Flight without the engine. It had seats.
we removed it
So-
and we made
And then later we removed its seats when we wanted to make it a cargo flight.
Right.
When we wanted it to be a passenger flight, it had seats.
So maneuvering కొంచెం కష్టం అవుద్ది కదా కెమెరాకి when seats are there.
Seats are there. Yeah. So there he used a handheld, and the shots which had to be shot in the cockpit, we had a crane and we removed the glass plane.
Right.
So like that we had shot, and then even the inside the cockpit again wide angle lens to capture the lights and the spirit of that landing. You see the movie actually. I was happy with the output. It's looking good. As a cinema person, we'll have an IV. Audience might konsar I'll pass chesi chinchanavi because authenticity wise. But as a person working in cinema, we'll be more critical. But I'm saying that test it passed. I feel.
Also, I'll say that I'll just go ahead and say this. He's a very, very critical person of himself. Even when he doesn't need to be, he's a hyper-critical person. So for him saying that, I know that, you know, he truly is happy. He means it.
No.
He means it, yeah.
Because I've seen this set in Green Mat, the air traffic control set. It was looking good for a Green Mat, but I wanted to see. Finally, it looked wow. And also the cockpit which we have lit and all of that. It was fine when we were shooting. It is a real thing, but the art director lit it up. But I wanted to see finally the film vachaka, are we getting the feel of a real flight? I didn't study aviation, but I've been in cockpits and I've been in flights, so I have some idea of it as a passenger. So it's looking very believable to me.
You've been in a cockpit as well?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
ఓకే ఇప్పుడు తెలుగు ఫిల్మ్స్లో ఆర్ ఇండియన్ ఫిల్మ్స్లో యాక్టర్స్ ఈజ్ నాట్ ఏ అంటే ఈవెన్ ఇఫ్ యు ఆర్ లైక్ 50s 60s యూ కెన్ స్టిల్ కంటిన్యూ యాక్టింగ్ ఇన్ ద మెయిన్ లీడ్ అండ్ ఇన్ ఎ రియలిస్టిక్ వే అండ్ యూ గెట్ ఇట్ రైట్. And films are also becoming hit like in Hollywood, where the prime age of an actor is known after 40 years or something like that. Prime time runs after 40 years. You have entered into the film industry little late.
Yeah.
And now also you are doing like very casually in the sense with lot of space between films. And you have good judgment and you have got technical understanding of things and you have got everything correct in terms of the ability to choose the right script. And there is so much of talent that is coming in. And at the same time there is no dearth of అంటే ఎవరు ఏ సినిమా అయినా కరెక్ట్గా చేస్తే చూసేస్తారు. ఈ సినారియోలో వై ఆర్ యూ నాట్ డూయింగ్ మోర్ ఫిల్మ్స్?
It needs an introspection from my side also. I don't have a ready answer. Generally, I think my timelines, if I think something will happen in 8-10 months, it's tending to take 1.5 years. So I think I need to rework on my timelines and take up more. But నాకు generally అయితే I like putting all eggs in one basket and traveling with that.
Right.
And you know, and shaping. So different times, different challenges I face, but I still believe in that process rather than doing a lot of films. But now my perspective has also changed. I feel like the more films you do, you get better faster, you know, like the volume of work also increases your skill as an actor. And also you have to be regularly in touch with the audience. 1.5 years is too long a gap. Right. So I'm trying to now pick up things a little faster, but I don't know, that finickiness comes in. So I'm not able to, some things which are decent have passed on, which I've done decently well or not well also, but I feel like, okay, maybe it was a good thing only that I passed it on or something like that. I don't...
Probably didn't assume that this would take that long, no? Because of the CGI.
CG and all that. I mean, it was never by design to do this less, but I think I need to step up my game to do more work.
అంటే you are from the industry and there is no proper PR from your side. అంటే at least letting the media know or letting the people know that what you are doing. Right? I think there should be more.
I know. I'll work on it. She's going to teach me how to make reels. She's very good with it. Done.
Maybe now you should
do a reel.
Yeah.
PR సినిమాకి చేయమంటే మైండ్ పెట్టగలను.
Right, personal PR.
ఇది చేద్దాం అది చేద్దాం. ఇప్పుడు వచ్చే ప్రీ రిలీజ్ ఫంక్షన్ కూడా రెగ్యులర్ టెంప్లెట్ కాకుండా అది మనం జల్సాలో డిజైన్ చేసిన ఫార్మాట్ ఇప్పటికీ అదే డాన్సులు అదే స్పీచ్లు. మార్చి ఇంకేమైనా చేద్దాం, మార్చి ఇంకేమైనా ఎంటర్టైనింగ్గా చేద్దాం, ఫన్ ప్రోగ్రామ్ చేద్దాం. సినిమా అంటే నేను బ్రెయిన్ పెట్టగలను. సెల్ఫ్ ప్రమోషన్ అంటే ఐఎమ్ నాట్ ఏబుల్ టు థింక్ ఇన్ మచ్ ఇన్ టర్మ్స్ ఆఫ్ సెల్ఫ్.
Flight now.
So film related promotions, there is content. I have my director with me, I have my actors with me. We've already been through an experience, so I can speak, or once I see the film, I'll have some level of confidence to come in front of the audience and say, please watch my film. But without that, for a personal incident, I don't know ఏం చేస్తే పర్సనల్ పిఆర్ అవుతుంది నాకు. I don't know. Not that I'm an introvert. Like, you know me, I'm an extrovert, so I don't have that shyness. But how do you put yourself out there is something I should learn probably with time.
Yeah.
Like I avoid perhaps
doing more films.
More films is the answer.
Take care of all the
more
problems.
films, if you do that, that is the answer. Then they get to see more of you. అంతకు మించి ఇంకేమీ చేయక్కర్లేదు నా ఫీలింగ్. If I have to learn from Prabhas, you know, like he doesn't do anything, ఎక్కడ కనపడరు. అండ్ సినిమాలు మాత్రం అట్లీస్ట్ 10 monthsకి ఒకటి వస్తుంది అంటున్నా.
That is great.
So he's the perfect example అంటున్నా. పెద్ద సినిమాలు అన్నీ బాగుంటాయి, బయటకు ఆయన కనపడరు, బట్ You know, I think that's a great example for somebody like me to take. Yeah. You see, he doesn't promote much. I mean, very minimal he does for his films.
Yeah.
He doesn't, I mean, personally, he doesn't do promotions outside of his film. There is no PR for him, or he doesn't do interviews, he doesn't come to reality shows, he doesn't come to award functions and all that. But for his films, he'll do the bare minimum, but his films are good and he's constantly doing films.
He's a private person, that's it.
Yeah. So I think that should be a good template.
Also, you don't know how to strike a balance. Sometimes I also face that as an actor, that, you know, how much is too much? When you do personal PR also, my family is not from the industry. So when they see, when my mother opens Instagram, she keeps coming across some very selective people that are always in her face, you know, and sometimes...
I think for girls it works a little differently. I think they need visibility leads to connect, and I don't know, I'm thinking, I may be wrong.
Yeah, I guess.
I
don't know.
If you leave some exception aside, like say Sai Palli garu laga
Basically, till you get a hit. Any girls are, you know, men or women. Till you get a hit, you need to...
Yeah, you need to feed yourself to the audience.
Question, no? I think the answer is one super hit will do everything. Justice to whatever you do.
Right.
That's all.
And till you do it, till you get that kind of a film, I think you have to put yourself out.
Out.
Yeah.
That's true. Have you seen the final copy?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I've seen it many times. Not the final copy. Final copy is yet to be done. It will be ready.
Corrections వదిలేస్తే చూసావు కదా మొత్తం ఒక ట్రెండ్ DI కరెక్షన్స్.
Yeah, but I'm.
అంటే ఫైనల్ కాపీ అంటే ఆయనకి ప్రింట్ నొక్కితేదే ఫైనల్ కాపీ అది కాదు లేదు. బట్
I have to see, sir.
It is like 95%, right? Whatever you saw.
95, yes, sir.
Yeah.
95,
So,
yeah.
tell me about it. What is your feeling?
Sure, whatever. I'm
Five
comparing.
to
Yeah, I'm comparing it with all my 5 films. I think I've done better than my 5th film, and I think I've shot visually better than all my other films, and action part. I think I've done better than whatever I've done, because it was not a very easy action to shoot. With Allu Sirish sir, it was what do you say? He was ready to do action. Okay, I had 3 blocks which were different. One was like in a club fight where he had to do everything very fast, and the club action, like John Wick types of action. So, and the climax is supposed to be in the flight, which most people have not seen. So, I think through action, I think I've done better stuff. With thanks to him rolling around, and I know I've tortured them both. I've tortured him a lot, because the climax was shot in 5 days. Okay, every day we start off by 2 or 2:30. I'll do dialogues for a different scene. We'll sit in the cockpit
till 6 AM. తర్వాత నైట్ అయ్యాక action sequence.
Yeah.
So we literally 2 PM to
By
6
4:30
AM,
or
2 PM
5.
to 6 AM.
Yeah, to 4:30 or 5. He'll be tired. I know that he can't do more. But I'll ask, sir, just 15 minutes more, sir, and he'll say, okay, I'll do, and he'll do it with that energy, that commitment. And the same thing with Gayatri too. She had to be tied up in one stretcher.
Your stretcher story, every interview we're saying this, man. You better put out that video after the movie release.
Yeah,
అదేదో పెద్ద ట్రాజడీ లా చెప్తున్నావు. ఏం అవ్వలేదు అక్కడ.
I had a fall, basically. It was
It's a
a
simple
bad...
Humpty Dumpty fall,
Listen.
which she's making it seem like a catastrophe.
It was not.
I mean, in the sets, not in the movie.
In the movie I don't. Yeah. On set. It was a set accident. Okay.
బా యాక్సిడెంట్ కూడా కాదు గురు, ఎక్కువ చెప్తుంది.
What is the definition of accident? Something
small
that's not supposed
thing
to
That's
happen.
not expected. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the
that's what I'm
scale,
saying.
accident అంటే it looks like she would have lost her life or something.
I said small. I had a
Okay,
small
she
accident.
had a small accident.
But I still got a bruise, I got hurt. Also, it was a shock of it. I'm not here to do action. I was not hired to do action. You are doing action. Suddenly, I'm falling off a stretcher.
You were part of
tied.
the action.
Also, I was strapped. I didn't have any support, and could not even...
Yeah, you couldn't protect yourself.
Because my eyes are shut.
And she's,
So basically...
for safety only, we had to strap her, because if it misses and she falls off, she'll fall off from the flight, which is like 2 floors height at na. So,
Actually...
for your own safety, we...
That's a part of the scene,
Okay.
the strapping, because you're carrying me from one place to another in the film. So I was supposed to be strapped according to the story, right? But the thing is, when a person falls, let's say you're sitting on this chair, okay, and you the action is that Sirish has to get up, throw your chair across, and you have wheels on your chair. Okay, and you're rolling. Now it's not supposed to fall, so I am relaxed.
Show him the clip.
I will show it to you after the
It was in
interview.
the moment of her life. Please show.
Because it's on the film camera, I recorded it from the monitor. The fall was recorded for everyone to always see. But is that
ఇలాంటివి నాకు చాలా స్టాండర్డ్గా తగులుతూ ఉంటాయంట నా మామూలుగా. ఫస్ట్ ఫైటే లివర్ మీద తన్నాడంట. హరీష్ ఉత్తమన్ నేను గౌరవంలో షూట్ చేస్తున్నాం. సో సీన్ ఏంటంటే బోత్ ఆఫ్ అస్ కమ్ టేక్ అ లీప్. తన చెస్ట్ మీద నేను, నా చెస్ట్ మీద తన. శాండ్ ఉంది అన్ఈవెన్గా. నేను కరెక్ట్గా ల్యాండ్ చేశా. తను వచ్చి కరెక్ట్గా ఇక్కడ కొట్టాడు. అవుట్ 3 secondsకి బ్లాక్ అవుట్. ఇంకా హాస్పిటల్ అనుకున్నా. లక్కీగా జూ అని తిప్పింది, వెళ్ళి స్కాన్ చేసుకున్నా, అవ్వలేదు, అంతా బాగానే ఉందంట. సో నా కెరీర్ బిగినింగ్ ఓపెనింగే ఎక్స్ట్రీమ్తో ఓపెన్ చేశాను. దాని తర్వాత ఈ చిన్న నిక్స్, కట్స్, మెనిస్కెల్ టేర్, ఇన్ని మామూలే. ఫైట్ అంటే ఇంకెన్ని మామూలే. సో పాపం తనకి తెలియదు అనుకుంటా. ఆ చిన్న ఫాల్కి పాపం చాలా షేక్ అయిపోయింది.
I don't have any fun stories now like you. So I only have this one.
5 years.
Yeah, when you become a very
Seasoned,
big successful heroine, then that video will be the kind of
You laugh at
biography
yourself for this.
chapter.
In every interview I went and told, "Acha, this one."
Yeah, so I have to now. Right now, audience doesn't know me. I have to say I had a fall.
Gayatri Bhardwaj had a fall.
Yeah.
Dumpty.
No, but
So
he
what
said
happened to Buddy at the end of the film?
that.
Yeah, I have to save, but that's the whole point. I have to save him, save her, and.
And we've shot 2 versions of that, by the way. So
You
I also
check-
don't
you
know.
check make up.
They don't know which I use.
I don't know.
No, I only saw the dubbing.
I don't know why you are keeping her in the interviews. She's giving out everything.
I know. So I told her.
Don't let her do individual interviews to anybody.
We shot 2 climaxes, two conversations.
Climax అయిపోయాక how we wrap up the film, we shot 2 versions.
2 versions.
I still think the other Hatke version is better, but
I
he
feel
wants
whatever we kept now is the thing.
He's like,
but we won't tell you.
We have to send our audience happy. I said, okay, this is fine.
Why are you now saying which one we've used?
I didn't say.
They don't know.
I said he went for a conventional climax is what I said.
No, dude. It's unconventional.
Okay, until we see it, we don't know what it is.
కానీ ఒకటి
That's also true.
సినిమాని ఫస్ట్ నేను షూటింగ్ అయిపోయాక ఒక వర్షన్ వేస్తే చూసా 2:35 ఉండింది, 2 hours 35 minutes. అక్కడే నాకు అసలు ఏం బోర్ కొట్ల. వితౌట్ ఆర్ఆర్ అని, స్టాక్ ఆర్ఆర్ అని వేసి డబ్బింగ్ ట్రాక్స్ కూడా ఫుల్గా రావు కదా. వేసుకొని చూసుకున్నప్పుడే ఫ్లో బాగుంది గురు, బాగుంది అంటే అక్కడి నుంచి ఐ డోంట్ నో హౌ ఈ బాడీ టు 2 hours 10 minutes. కథ మారలా, బట్ ఐ డోంట్ నో, లైక్ వెరీ ఫాస్ట్ ఎడిటింగ్. ఐ థింక్ chopping, not there's no probably 1 or 2 scenes and small bits we've chopped. Length ga chuste, I mean story level chopping ante de.
Basically
The way he paced it.
scene
The way
oka
he
2
paced
minutes
it.
unte danni probably 1 hour,
Yeah,
1 minute 40 seconds alaga.
Human editor Ruben worked and paced it. Ade kadani how they could compress it to 2 hours 10 minutes was an interesting thing. I told him, in fact, okay, this is too, I like pacey films, I can't watch slow films. This is very pacey, you can give some breather, you can give some breather. No, commercial film has to run fast, audience know everything so easily.
Attention spans.
కానీ మన ఇవాళ సోషల్ మీడియా అడిక్ట్ అయిపోయిన లో అటెన్షన్ స్పాన్స్ కూడా అది హుక్ చేసుకునే పేసింగ్ మెథడ్ అంట, విచ్ I really admire. First, initially I was like, no, this is too pacey, but actually when I'm dubbing it and watching it multiple times with RR and all that, I felt like this is nice, that maybe the 2:30 version wouldn't have worked as effectively as this 2 hour 10 minute version.
That's why reels are working on Insta, because
Low attention span, the story is complete. But ఎక్కడ స్కోప్ లేదంటున్నా, మధ్యలో ఫోన్ తీసి చూసుకుని అలా చూసే స్కోప్ ఇవ్వలేదంటున్నా. దట్స్ in a way I would say a success also, like it's like quite tightly packed and there's some information or drama happening every moment.
బేసికల్గా టెడీలో సోల్ ఉంటుంది. సోల్ వెళ్ళిపోతే స్టోరీ ఎండ్ అయిపోద్ది. సోల్ ఇంకా ఉంటే దెర్ ఈస్ ఎ ఛాన్స్ ఫర్ ఎ సీక్వెల్ ఆల్సో, ఐ గెస్.
He designed something little in the post climax, he kept it little open ended
shot where we kept one lead for the next part.
రైట్.
నేనైతే మరి ఫైనల్గా ఆడియన్స్లోకి వెళ్ళాక అది వాళ్ళు ఎంత రిసీవ్ చేసుకుంటారు, ఎంత ఆదరిస్తారు అనేది ఆల్వేస్ ఎ క్వశ్చన్ మార్క్. యూ కెన్ నెవర్ బీ టూ షూర్. బట్ నేను చూసుకున్నాక ఐఎమ్ హ్యాపీ విత్ ద ఫిల్మ్. అండ్ మేము స్టార్ట్ చేసినప్పుడు ఏదైతే అనుకున్నామో, వీ వాంటెడ్ టు మేక్ అ స్మార్ట్లీ ప్యాకేజ్డ్ కమర్షియల్ ఎంటర్టైనింగ్ ఫిల్మ్. I think that note we would have hit. Yeah? Yeah, I think that
was the whole
what we
idea.
started off, I think that we've made it. Now, how much will audience receive that till it goes into the audience, I cannot predict. But I am a little more relaxed, if you can see. I'm not so tensed, because if you have a doubt unte, the doubt will reflect in our promotions, I feel. Like I was very confident during Srirastu promotions. Urvasi promotions, I was a little more tense. I was not 100% sure. I know we made a good film, but there's some changes which we made which I was not sure if they should be. When later after the film went into the audience, I had my own learning. But here, what we started off, at least we made. So I'm a little more relaxed that way.
So pilot role చేసావు కదా, so any homework or ఏమన్నా
So I
little bit
joined
of
the
training
film-
లాంటిది
No.
ఏమన్నా
Because we're not flying a real flight. We took a real flight, but we're not actually flying it. Our technical training avasala, but luckily I met a couple of pilots after signing the film. So I asked him, is there anything? And he's like, don't go too much into the pilot zone. It's more about this drama. So I met some pilots from Indigo only. So I asked them, like, how does it feel? So they told me, like, we feel very responsible because every day 200-250 people put their lives in our hands and we have to land them safely. So I said, do you feel like a heroic inside, or do you feel like an alpha inside? And yeah, they said we have this inbuilt thing, like we're like champions, or like alpha, or very confident. That confident need not, and I've seen in the airports also, when they pass through security check and all that, I see they're not cocky, they're not rubbing shoulders and trying to make they're not flexing.
It's
but you can
hospitality at the end of
no, I'm saying no, they're not flexing, but you can see that they're very confident people. They're very self-assured, but they stay under the hood. They're not outwardly trying to show off or be very seen like alpha. So I felt these guys also like that. They speak less, but they're very confident inside, and they're fit, well maintained, and they're also very well educated and takes a lot of technical education. So they're very self-assured. So I felt that quality will translate into this. I don't know, very subtly whatever I try to bring.
And one more thing, sir. When they wear the uniform, they automatically get that charm, where they feel themselves, As a cop, when they wear the uniform, they have that high, and I've spoken with
regular
pilots.
costume scenes, Kanna, when I was wearing that pilot uniform, even it's easier to slip into that mental zone, that okay, you're a captain right now. And added to that, it's happy that we shot in a real flight, because it feels real over a CG or a set thing, where it all left to imagination and all of that. Because there was a real flight and we were shooting in that, it felt easier to slip into that.
It was flying once, no?
So there is a real Teddy of this size, or it's pure imagination?
We've taken a person, so they wore a body mask, but the face can't be animated. It can't be like those ones which we see in birthday parties. So all of the face was animated, and the whole, it was part human and part CG. So we had a real person, but the eyes and face does not emote. So we had to act only seeing at a point. But in the film, it feels like a real person. Of this
So
height.
the animation is done using those spots.
Yeah. They have CG markers.
Yeah.
The CG markers, and that animated it.
But the size and everything is the same.
Same size. It's this
huge.
side. This side.
Life size.
So you need to get that appropriate height.
Yeah.
Eyeline and everything, it's easier. I mean, it can't be easy, but I mean, you have to. Also, I'm never in the same frame as the Teddy,
Yeah.
so I don't.
One more spoiler.
నువ్వు తల్లి నువ్వు మాట్లాడక నువ్వు అన్ని చెప్పారు.
But this is okay. Sorry.
Sir, 1 hour you will leave
So you
alone
have
full
to
story,
brief me
narration,
out
she'll
before-
give.
No, we're joking. This is not much of a thing.
He already told that it's long distance thing.
Yeah, see, you are saying. When you are saying, then it's not a problem.
अरे ATC and captain के बीच में क्या हो सकता है?
Right. What is your favorite pilot related film?
Sully.
I was just gonna say that.
Okay. For you also Sully.
Yeah. I really
What
like
about you?
that.
For me, I forgot. Suddenly, if you ask, I don't remember any other.
You must have done a lot of research. Also.
Yeah, I've done research, and since they told Sully, Sully, yes.
And also airlift, because my father actually flew that flight. The
Really?
one
The
with-
Malayalam
Yeah.
airlift?
No,
No,
in
Hindi. Akshay Kumar. Real.
Akshay Kumar.
Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't. Oh God, I missed that. Malayalam.
He
There was another
actually
film
flew that,
about
so it is
airlift.
like a hero story for him. So I love to. I used to tell people that story before
It's a
that
very
film came out.
Very good film.
Yeah, it is a good film. well made.
Ayyo. In Malayalam also there was another film about picking people stuck in war zone and coming. I forgot the name. I loved that film also.
My dad actually wanted to be an Air Force pilot, okay? So he, because of his eyesight, he couldn't be one. So he has a very, like that, Desh Bhakti.
Pilot and then ultimately will be Top Gun Maverick. We're only thinking of a commercial pilot.
Yeah, of
Even
course.
then then it'll
also
start with
Yeah.
Top Gun Maverick.
Correct.
And
That
then
was
probably Sally.
so
Huh.
good. Top Gun.
For me, Top Gun, not Maverick, the first one.
I was not even born then, so I didn't see it. But later, I mean, I saw bits and pieces because it used to come on HBO. Those days we didn't have DVD. I mean,
We used to have DVD of Top Gun. I remember watching it when
I've seen Top Gun, bits and pieces, but not in last 10-15 years, so it's all in bits and clips in my mind. I didn't trip on it because I was too young that time. But Maverick, I tripped on it. I was like, oh my god.
For me, that high part is from Top Gun.
Yeah?
The second one is Catch Me If You Can.
I saw it, but I think I missed it.
Yeah, it is Tom Hanks and
Yeah, of course.
it is about a guy who pretends to be a pilot and
Okay.
you know
It's a real life story.
he robs people and you know he duplicates the checks and all
Checks
that.
and all.
Here, there is a little bit of the pilot track, but it's not too much about the airplane part. It's more about the personal drama between the teddy bear and this thing. Having said that, whatever portion is there of the pilot, of the air flying part, it's very authentic. But the drama is not too much about him being a pilot.
Yeah. So everything looks really great.
Thank you.
Hope for the best.
Thank you. Thank you very
All
much.
the best for Buddy on